Today we'll be making the Russian T54/55. The Russian T55 is a popular Russian tank. Not only did it have a dome-shaped turret to make the armor more effective, but it was probably the Soviet Union's first main battle tank. And oh my god, there was a lot of them. Yes, this tank was the most produced tank in history. So without any further ado, let's get into the tutorial. To start off, here's a reference image. And also props to Army of Plastic Studios for inspiring the wheel design for this tank. The biggest aspect about the T55 tank is its dome-shaped turret, and many would think it would be impossible to create with just some cardboard. But luckily, after many attempts, I've cracked the code to making dome-shaped turrets or objects. So for this video, I decided the first thing I'm gonna do is make the turret. For starters, I cut out a circle the base size of the turret. To make the dome, I cut out flat 2D half domes out of cardboard. To demonstrate what I'm talking about, I made a 3D model to show. Basically, to recreate the dome out of cardboard, I cut out a bunch of 2D domes like this. Then I glue them all around the circle to make the shape of the dome. This is the first step, and you don't need that many half domes to make the shape. This is a finished product. I also glued on some circles and some other pieces of cardboard on the top for support. This ties in with the next step. For this step, I covered the supports of the dome to make the actual dome. To cover it, I cut out a bunch of strips of paper. Then I wrapped them around the cardboard thing to make the actual dome. This is easily done, just wrapping it from the top to the bottom and trimming it off, and gluing it on as well. Now this is the final product, a dome. But of course it isn't smooth. There are clear gaps in the paper and some inconsistencies that make the turret look, well, weird. So to smooth it out, I use a paper mache-like technique, but it isn't really paper mache. For this, I cut the paper towel into paper strips, just like before. Then I wrap them around the tank like the paper. And using a lot of white glue, I glue it on. This makes a smoother surface because the paper towels are more flexible than the actual paper. When it's all dry, you should have a dome that looks like this. It's pretty smooth and it looks alright, but the texture from the paper towel still shows. So for the final step to get rid of that texture, I cover the whole entire turret with many layers of white glue. In my case, I'm using Mod Podge. The more layers of glue you put onto your turret, the more smooth it is. This is because slowly, after many layers, the white glue would slowly fill in the texture and make it just smooth. And for my turret, I did 3 layers of the white glue. Maybe, I don't remember. And when that's all dried, you should have your dome-shaped turret. This dome-shaped turret design is something I'm really proud of, so hopefully you learned a lot about it. Now for the basic means of making a tank. To finish the turret, I add on the cupola, some other aspects, and some other details. Now it's time to make the tank body. I first cut out a strip of cardboard the width of the body. I made sure it was the right scale by matching it with the turret. Then I cut out the other pieces of the tank and glued it on together. I finished off with the tank body looking like this. Then I moved on to adding the gun. The gun is just a mechanical pencil that I just glued on. With the turret done, I put it into the tank body. I made the turret mechanism by cutting a hole into the body of the tank. Then I got the circle that I cut out and glued it onto a bigger piece of cardboard. This allowed the circle that fit through the hole to move around while not falling out. And then I glued that circle onto the turret. With the turret mechanism done, I could finally glue on the sides of the tank. To make the sides, I glued the whole entire body of the tank onto another flat piece of cardboard, and I just trimmed it out. I did this for both sides. The track coverings were next and were just flat pieces of cardboard trimmed out. I did this for both sides. The track coverings were next and were just flat pieces of cardboard trimmed out. To finish the body of the tank, it's time to add details. These details are basically anything on the tank besides the body, like ventilation or other pieces of metal or stowage, and it's made with just cardboard or other materials. As you can see here, the details improve the look of the tank a whole lot. The final step is to make the wheels. The wheels are basically just 2 circles and a cylinder in the middle to make it thicker. After making 14 wheels, I glued them on. Now the tank should be done. All that's left is to paint it. Oh, and also I made some basic cardboard tracks and painted them black. The whole entire tank is painted a desaturated green. When the paint dries, I glue on the tracks. And now you're finally done. So I forgot to say, but thank you for these lads for requesting this tank. It was an interesting build and I learned a lot from it. And thank you all for watching.